On the first week of January 2024, Ethiopia signed a deal with Somaliland to access the ocean. The type of deal which was signed is in the form of an MOU, right? A memorandum of agreement. This memorandum of agreement has a number of aspects to it, right? The first one is that Ethiopia will access about 20 kilometers of coastline in a place called Berbera, right? That gives them access to the Gulf of Aden. Now, the second aspect to this deal, right, is that Ethiopia will be allowed to build a military base, right? Fundamentally, a naval base. The third aspect to this deal, right, is that Ethiopia will build a commercial port. The fourth aspect to this deal, right, states that Somaliland will acquire a stake, right, in the Ethiopian Airlines. Now, everything that I've just mentioned, right, will be structured as a 30-year lease. Now, but the main controversial aspect about this deal, right, this MOU between Ethiopia and Somaliland, right, is the fact that Ethiopia, right, is going to be the first country to recognize Somaliland, right, as an independent country, right? A brief history states that Somaliland broke away, right, from Somalia, right, around 1991, right? But they were not recognized by the international community, right? And they want so bad to be recognized as an independent country, right? When you look at Somaliland, right, it's got the trappings of an independent nation, right? It's got its own government, it's got its own police force, it's even got its own currency, right? So they have developed, right, and advanced as an independent country while not recognized by the international community. So, as part of the deal, right, to make it sweet for Somaliland, Ethiopia, right, says that they will recognize Somaliland as an independent country. Now, I do not think that Somalia has an issue, right, with Ethiopia accessing 20 kilometers of coastline in Somaliland, right? I don't think Somalia has a problem with the type of commercial deals and military deals that they want to sign with Ethiopia, right? The main problem that Somalia has with this deal is the aspect of Ethiopia, right, recognizing Somaliland as an independent country. Now, this aspect of the deal really, really angered Somalia, right? Because it basically undermined its own territory and its own, what can I say, sovereign landmass. Now, when we look at the history between Ethiopia, right, and Somalia, these two countries have had about two wars over territorial disputes, over land issues, right? The first war occurred in 1964, right? It was over territorial disputes. And the second one happened in 1977. Another interesting fact, right, that adds to the dynamics and the tensions of this is that Ethiopia has its soldiers as part of the AU um, peacekeeping mission, right? That basically is fighting a militant group in Somalia known as Al Shabaab. 90% of all Ethiopian trade and goods passes through the port in Djibouti, right? It costs Ethiopia about 1.5 billion US dollars in port fees, right? And there are two main ways that goods move towards the Djibouti port, right? It is number one through a railway which was built by China, right, which links Ethiopia and Djibouti, right, and then links the port to the railway, right? And then there is a main road that leads from Addis Ababa, right, the capital city of the country, that is known as A1. This main road is known as A1, right? It also leads to the port of Djibouti. Now, this arrangement is very high risk for Ethiopia, right? If we look at the current situation in Ethiopia last year in 2022, they just signed a deal, a peace deal with the Tigrayans, right, to stop fighting and for the Tigrayan army to be absorbed into the Ethiopian army, right? Now, there is another tension that has started now over into the Amhara people within the Ethiopian culture, right? So Ethiopia fears that one of these groups, right, can go rebel and then block, let's say, for instance, bomb the rail that leads from Ethiopia to Djibouti, right? That would disturb the Ethiopian economy, or block the main road known as A1, right? To not allow anything to move towards the port, right? That would cripple the Ethiopian economy, and that would create serious instability socially and politically so. So, because of this risk, Ethiopia is seeking to have its own port, right?